Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. So this is a very requested video that many people constantly ask me, how much have I put into the M3? People are always curious the total dollar amount, and most people usually kind of stray away from this and they don't like to know. But for me, you guys know me, I'm very detailed when it comes to this kind of stuff, and I actually keep an entire spreadsheet of all my cars, of everything that I've done. I even track every 1,000 miles that I do. It's very detailed, so I'm very aware about what I put into my cars. But I will say it never holds me back from completing my vision. I typically don't really like to have a budget per se. I just like to build exactly what I have in my head and that vision I've always had for years. And the F80 was no different. I wanted to build this with no expense spared, bring it to the exact specifications that I've always had in my head ever since the F80 came out. And what I want to do in this video is actually go over modification by modification, tell you guys exactly how much I paid, what it cost, and ultimately give you a total cost of what I put into the F80 M3 in terms of modifications. We're not going to be going over the price I paid for the car, just modifications. Now, I understand there's 1,001 ways to go about doing this. You can do it cheaper, you can do it more expensive, you can do it 1,000 different ways, but this is the approach that I took. These are the modifications that I did. So what I want to gain from this video is just to give people an idea of what it takes if you were to do a copy paste of my car and do the exact same thing to get it to this point, you know, relatively what it would cost. So let's go ahead, let's get into it. I'm actually going to break it down into a couple different categories. We're going to do exterior, interior, performance, and then we're going to be doing wheels and tires and stuff like that separately, just because I feel like it needs its own kind of category. And the way that I'm going to go about doing this is just go over the modification. I'll put the price on the screen because it'll be hard to go back and forth explaining what the actual price is, and I'll probably get the numbers mixed up a million times. So I'm going to put the actual number up on the screen so there's no confusion of exactly how much things cost. Starting off here, we have the IND painted roundels. Now they look very similar, but as you can tell around the outside, they're actually painted a gloss black. I have them on the front as well as the rear trunk. So if we look right here, this is a gloss black front grille badge from Carbon Culture. As you can see, the M3 is painted a gloss black instead of the chrome. Has the M colors on there. I think it adds a really nice touch, and I actually just recently installed it and I love it. Right on top of the headlights, we have the carbon fiber eyebrows. These are from Horizon Motorsports. I personally installed them because I wasn't a big fan of the silver and chrome coloring on the top. So adding that little flavor of carbon on top, I think looks really nice, ties in with everything, and also it hides that chrome. So it's a really nice touch. Down below here, we have the carbon fiber fangs, as they call them. These are from Horizon Motorsports as well. Adds a nice look up front, kind of blends in with all the other carbon. I like carbon on a darker colored car since it kind of blends in, doesn't stand out too much, and I really like the way this looks up front, makes the front end look really aggressive. Coming right down here, we have the Horizon Motorsport splitters. So these just slip right on over the bumper. I think it adds a really nice touch and blends in with the fangs as well. And it looks really good. Down below, we have an Autotechnic CS style front lip. This is my original lip, by the way. I installed this pretty much when I first got the car. Love this lip. It has held up very well. It's low enough to give that really aggressive front end look, but it's not super duper low where it's going to be scraping everywhere. I have scraped with it given the height that I'm at, but it's held up very well, and there's no signs of cracking or anything, and I've been really happy with it. Lighting, we have the Horizon Motorsport amber daytime running lights. I also had yellow. I actually recently just installed these. Really big fan of the amber. If you look on my truck, I have amber. My wife's Telluride over here as amber daytime running lights. Really big fan. Also blends in with the amber light over here. Looks super aggressive, and I love the way it looks on mineral gray. As I mentioned, I had yellow for pretty much the entire ownership. I installed them pretty much when I got the car as well, but I recently just changed over to the amber, and I think it looks really good. All right, so this one's gonna be hard to tell. I would open up the garage, but it's actually snowing right now. But down in the front grille, I'll put up a picture for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. You can kind of see it here. But the front chassis bar is by Lower Class Garage. I got it in Illusion Light Blue to match the cap set, which we'll go over in a little bit. Love this piece. It looks so good. Much better than stock. I actually had one of these on my STI, and I knew when I got my F80, I wanted to add it to this. It adds that really cool look up front, and obviously it's much more structurally sound than the stock piece. You can get it in any color that you want, which is really nice, but I ultimately chose the blue to match everything. And it's one of those cool little touches that not many people notice, but when you see it, it's something that you have to have. On the side here, we have the IND paint matched bumper reflectors. This is one of the first things I installed as well when I first got the car. The paint match is okay. It's not perfect. It's a little bit darker than mineral gray. I reached out to IND actually, and I expressed my concern, and they were saying, hey, that's the paint color. It is what it is. They really didn't help me out. But it looks better than the ugly orange reflectors, so I have those in there. As you can see, I have PPF on the entire car. It was actually done by the previous owner, so I'm not going to take that into account in terms of cost, but entire car's PPF. The hood. Now, as you can see, this is an OEM hood that comes on all F80, F82s, but as you guys know, if you've been following me along, I have recently upgraded to an OEM GTS carbon fiber hood. It's actually just finished up paint. I'm going to be going up to my shop next week to get it installed, but I'm including this in the cost because this is a big one and it's one of my favorite mods. I haven't even installed it yet, and I know it's going to be one of my favorites, so I wanted to include this in the cost of everything. We'll put up a quick picture of it being painted and obviously what it looks like real quick, but amazing, amazing modification. I think it's going to complete this entire car, and it's exactly what this needed, but we're going to be getting that PPF as well in the future. I'm not taking that into account since I haven't done it yet, but I've obviously paid for the hood, I paid for the paint and everything, so I'm gonna include that in the total cost. Side mirrors. These are carbon fiber side mirrors by Auto Technic as well, same company as the front lip. These fit really, really well. It is dry carbon, so it's a nice thin piece of carbon. It's not the fiberglass with carbon laid on top. It fits like OEM, honestly, and these are half the price of OEM. Been really happy with them. Fitment is beautiful. Obviously, I've done a whole video on everything that I'm gonna be talking about in this video as well, so if you're interested in seeing more detail, be sure to check those out. But these things are amazing, blends in really nice with the mineral gray metallic and looks really cool. Down below here on the side skirts, we got a nice little touch from Horizon Motorsports. These are the M Performance style carbon fiber side skirt extensions, whatever you want to call them, but they stick out just enough to give it that extra flair, tie in with the front lip, and just give it that nice even look down the whole entire side of the car. But I love these things. They fit really well. They look really good. They don't stick out too much, so when you're looking at the car from here, they're not popping out like crazy. They have the PSM style, which I'm not a big fan of. I like the OEM M Performance style, which is basically just a straight shot through down the whole entire car. And I've been really, really happy with them and look really great. Coming around out back here, we got quite a few things. So let's kind of start from the top, work our way down. Up top here is the OEM M Performance carbon fiber trunk lip. I tried a different one. I actually tried one by Auto Technic, the CS style, which I was not a big fan of because it has the little bump down in the middle. Looks good, but wasn't for me. So I decided to go with the OEM M Performance one. I think it looks best. It fits best. Fitment on this thing is insane, and it looks fantastic. Taillights. Probably can't really notice too much, but these are actually OEM Euro Shatterline taillights. So as you can see here, amber turn signals, which are really cool. Matches the mirror turn signals as well as the front, so we got all amber. And also, hard to notice, but the actual inside of the taillight is a much darker red. If you look at the OEM LCI taillights, they are the US spec taillights, red turn signal, and inside is a much brighter red. So it's a little bit more vibrant. I much prefer the darker cherry look, so I decided to go with the OEM Euros. Love these, look really good, and I love the amber turn signal. All right, so we already talked about this one, but I figured I would just show it. This is the IND painted roundel, matches the front. Let's go ahead and move down to the diffuser. This is the Horizon Motorsport, I believe V-style diffuser, which wraps around the side. One of my favorite diffusers, gives it that really aggressive look. And again, these side pieces kind of tie in with the side skirts along with the front lip, so it looks all nice and even. Lowers the rear end enough that it doesn't look too crazy. I'm not a big fan of the ones that go underneath. I think it's a little bit too much for this car, so I just kind of prefer the V style, I believe it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong, but looks really good. Fitment is great, and it's held up very, very well. Right over here, we have the, I can't think of the actual, I don't know how to pronounce the brand name, but Axion, something like that. This is the honeycomb gloss black inserts, so it's the reflector delete. Normally, factory, these are red, which I couldn't stand. I decided not to go with the paint match ones simply because the front bumper ones from IND, the paint match wasn't great, so I didn't want another paint matched piece that didn't match perfectly. So I decided to go with the gloss black honeycomb ones. I really like them. Kind of adds a little dimension here, adds it, I guess, another vent, if you will. Kind of makes it look a little bit more aggressive. So I went with those. Really nice. Fitment is great, and I didn't have to worry about the paint match. The exhaust tips back here, these are the Horizon Motorsports carbon fiber gloss black exhaust tips. Really, really nice. Great option if you just want to upgrade the stock exhaust with some tips on there. You actually can take them off and install these. These just clamp right on. Lots of different options. You get gloss black, you can get chrome, you can get a frosted chrome, and there's also a titanium finish as well, which looks really cool. I opted to go with the gloss black. However, I'm actually going to be replacing these. I just picked up a set of new In Customs exhaust tips that are a little bit bigger. It's going to fit the exhaust as well, since everything else is In Customs, which we'll go over in a little bit. But these are really nice, a really great option if you want a simple OEM looking exhaust tip. Last but not least, we have the IND paint matched keyhole cover. I couldn't stand that it still had the keyhole here. Looks much cleaner with the paint matched cap there. So if we look on the back here, it's the exact same thing. This is how it comes factory. But on the driver door, it has that little key insert. If your battery failed in your key fob, you're able to use the key and unlock it. But what I actually did, I actually left the keyhole there, and I just used the IND painted cap. So I put that over the keyhole, so if I ever really needed to, I could just pop this off and use the keyhole. Most people just delete it completely, but I wanted to keep it as OEM as possible, so the option is there if I need it. I believe that concludes the exterior modifications. So as you can see, wasn't much done. It's pretty much factory. Just a few little things here and there to accent certain areas. Very happy with the look. But let's go ahead and move on to the wheels, a very important one. But these are custom set of BBS RIAs done by AR Motorworks. I got them done and refinished in a custom gloss black. Really happy with it. Fitment on these is incredible. The specs on these are 18 by 10 plus 25. I have a Future Classic 10mm spacer on the front as well, so it brings it down to a plus 15. Tires are Falken RT660s, 275/35/18s up front. The rears are 18 by 11 plus 37, but I have a 5mm Future Classic spacer on there, so that brings it down to a plus 32. Tires are Falken RT660s and 295/30/18. Now I do have some fancy studs and lugs on here. These are the Mach Chanel 75mm stud kit, and I also have the Project Kicks R40 Iconics lug set on here as well to finish it off. All right, so now that we got done with the wheels and exterior, let's start going over the performance aspect of the car. I'm just gonna kind of group the engine bay modifications done in here as well to kind of go over that, but let's go ahead and get started. We'll start from the back and work our way forward. Back here, we have the Mishimoto charge cooler. This is actually paint matched to mineral gray metallic. Nice little touch, love this thing. We got some Eventuri charge pipes as well, done in the IND gloss finish, not the matte finish. We got the Eventuri gloss carbon fiber engine cover. Really nice and kind of ties everything in. Also, we got the beloved Eventuri intake as well. This is the V2 version, which has the closed housing piece. Love this intake. Sounds amazing and really, really nice gains for an intake, which typically don't add much, but this actually does. Has some great sound. We also have the Golden Wrench Supply blue cap set. So we have the coolant caps, oil filter cap, oil cap, as well as the washer fluid cap over there. Adds a really nice touch, ties in with all the blue that I got going on here with the blue calipers, as well as the blue front crash bar. Up front, we have some really nice pieces. This is the Dinman carbon fiber radiator support. Really nice, great finish. Save a ton of weight as well, so not only does it look good, it actually saves you on weight. Over here, we have a custom piece done by my buddy Brian, Jet Puffed. You may know him on Instagram. He makes some really nice headlight covers. Otherwise, this area looks very ugly and kind of open and gross. So he made some nice carbon fiber covers to cover that area up. Also, if we look around the engine bay, we have the Downstar full titanium burnt hardware kit. This whole kit is the actual full titanium kit. It's not the stainless kit. It is the full, more expensive titanium kit. Got the burnt finish. It is absolutely everywhere. Looks amazing, and paired with the carbon fiber, looks incredible. Right up front here, we have the Muscleman oil thermostat. Absolutely love this thing. It is crazy how much of a difference this actually makes. Definitely worth the investment. Highly recommend it. Install is very, very simple. Obviously, I have a whole video on that. Down below, can't really see it, but we have the Gintani crank hub fix. Got that done at Auto Couture Motoring, so no issues with my crank hub. I never have to worry about my S55 again. Definitely a pricey upgrade, but I highly recommend it, especially if you're going to be tuning and modifying your car. But I still even recommend it if your car is completely stock, because if you guys remember my video, my car was completely stock in terms of performance all of its life, and we found some cracked friction discs on my stock crank hub, so I highly recommend doing that no matter what, even if you're modified or stock. Definitely recommend it. Down below, I can't show you right now because the car is too low, but we have the Turner Motorsport oil cooler guard as well. Highly recommend that, especially if you are lowered. BMW thought it was a good idea to put the oil cooler perpendicular to the ground right at the front bumper, and it is known for actually cracking if you guys hit something in the road. So having a proper oil cooler guard on there is highly recommended. I went with the Turner Motorsport one. Looks great, fits great, and definitely a worthy upgrade. Now, as for suspension, we got a few things going on here. Can't really see, but I am running the KW V3 coilovers with the EDC delete kit, so I do not have EDC anymore. I deleted it, not a big fan of it, so I'm happy I went with these. Absolutely love these coilovers. Incredible performance, so much adjustability, as low as you possibly want. I can even go lower than this, which is crazy, but the overall handling, the overall fit and finish of a KW kit is incredible. I actually had some V2s on my E46 M3, so going with the V3s was only right. I am super happy with them, highly recommend them. On top, we just installed these actually. These are the Milway street camber plates. It allowed me to kind of dial in the camber a little bit more, fit these big meaty tires up front, and also it gives that much more of adjustability to get it to exactly where I want. Fit and finish on these things is incredible. You can actually install them on your stock struts as well. So if you want to add some camber, you most certainly can do that with your stock suspension, but works on KWs as well as other aftermarket coilovers as well. Really happy with that setup. Over here, hard to tell, didn't really cost much, but this is something that I did and I thought I would mention it. This is actually a paint matched battery terminal cover. Normally this is red, but I actually bought some mineral gray metallic paint and it looks really good. Ties in, there's no really ugly red or anything, just kind of showing here. So I believe the brand is called Scratches Happen. It includes both the color that you picked as well as a clear coat. So it's a kind of all-in-one solution. Really, really nice. I'm really happy with it. And it's that nice little touch that brings it to the next level. Two things left in terms of performance. One, the exhaust setup that I'm running Catless VRSF downpipes, non-resonated. It's just a straight Catless downpipe paired with an In Customs catback. So it's an In Customs single resonated mid pipe. Then out back, we have an In Customs custom dual muffler valved muffler setup. Love this setup. It's loud when you want it, but at the same time it can be quiet when you want it as well, so it's the best of both worlds. It's one of the best stock twin turbo setups I have ever heard in an S55. It's nice and deep. It's got that grunt without being overly raspy and overly obnoxious, and I've been really happy with this setup. If you're looking for a hand-built quality piece made in Germany from one of the best people out there, highly recommend Patrick and In Customs. Pick up an exhaust. He can do anything that you want. Last but not least, in terms of tune, what gives it the most power, we are running BM3 Stage 2 93 performance tune. Absolutely incredible. This thing is close to 600 horsepower. Absolutely rips the rear tires off pretty much all the way to third gear. It is an absolute blast. Completely woke up this car. It is quick to begin with, but putting that tune on there, it just completely changed this car for the better. And when it gets the power down, it is absolutely insane how quick this car is. All right, so now that we got the exterior, the wheels, performance, all taken care of, let's move on to the last category, and that is interior. We have done a lot in here, a lot to go over, so let's get started. All right, first things you're gonna notice are the seats. These are Recaro pole positions, ABE versions, with the Pepita or houndstooth inserts. Love these seats. Turned out amazing. I fit in these so well. It makes this whole driving experience that much better. And it doesn't get any better than this, in my opinion. In terms of the brackets, we are running the Mach Chanel Club Sport brackets. So it's the side bracket, the rail, as well as the floor mount as well. So it's an all-in-one package. And it's pretty amazing. It's got the sliders, so you can move it into any position that you want. And I've been so thrilled with this seat setup. For the floor mats, just a little touch to kind of tie in that motorsport look that I love. These are the P2M checkered floor mats. These things are okay in terms of quality. They're about $100. I didn't expect them to be anything great. I do notice some wear here, and I haven't even had them in for that long, but for $100, I think the look is pretty cool. They also include the rear mats as well, so we got them in the back as well. Gives it that nice motorsport touch. The pedals, we are running the M Performance pedals. These are an OEM option that you could have selected from the factory. Really nice. They are stainless steel, so it's not plastic. Also, I forgot to mention this. I'm running the UCP clutch pedal as well. Huge improvement. Absolutely love that change. It lowered the pedal, moved it into a better position. The travel of the clutch is so much smaller, so it makes driving it way easier. And the engagement is so much better. Huge upgrade. Highly recommend that. Right over here, we have the Carbon X door latch, the hood latch. This is made of aluminum instead of the stock plastic piece. Very small upgrade, but I highly recommend it because the stock one feels like it's gonna break every single time you pull it. These are made of aluminum. Looks really nice. You can actually get these paint matched to whatever color you want. They also come in a few different colors as well. So highly recommend that. Relatively cheap mod to do. In the center here, I actually upgraded to the OEM GTS center console. I absolutely love this. After putting in the seats, I realized my arm was getting in the way of shifting with the armrest there. Since I'm sitting so much lower, my overall driving position completely changed, and I wanted to delete the armrest, but I went a step further and I went with the OEM GTS center console. So as you can see, we actually got it custom done with the M stitch as well. So it ties in really nicely with a few other pieces that we're gonna go over in a second. But we got the full center console from the GTS. We also have the GTS handbrake as well. The handbrake here is the M Performance one from IND, which is really nice, ties it all in. A couple things we got going on here. This was custom done by my buddy Marco from MF Interior. It is a beautiful piece, all Alcantara, goes all the way in the back, kind of hard to see, but we got the M stitch as well, so everything flows really nicely with the GTS center console as well. We have the OEM M Performance Tri-Stitch Alcantara boot as well. This is from IND. I had the M Performance shifter, I still do, but I actually upgraded to the Racing Strato shift knob. Unfortunately, Racing is out of business now, but I got one of the last Stratos knobs. Love this knob. I actually had this in my previous car as well. Easily one of the best shift knobs I've ever had. It is the perfect weight. It's not too heavy, not too light. Alcantara, got some really nice engraving on there as well. And this is universal as well, so you get different inserts that you can use on different cars. I actually have a few inserts for my next car as well that I can use this on, so it's transferable as well, but unfortunately they went out of business, and I got one of the last ones, so I'm very thankful for that. Up here, something you guys won't notice, but I went through the whole entire thing of trying to delete the airbag sticker on the US spec visors up here, but I ended up going with the Euro visors. So I bought these things are pretty pricey for what they are, but I tried removing it with the alcohol, didn't turn out too great, wasn't happy with it, so I just splurged and went with the Euro visors, which doesn't have the actual sticker on here. It looks way cleaner, especially when the visors are indeed down. They don't show when you're driving to other drivers. I know I'm crazy, but worth it to me. Looks really clean, matches the headliner as well. Right here we have the blend mount for my Uniden R7 radar. Currently it's in my truck. Since I'm not driving this right now, it's not in here, but absolutely amazing radar. Love this mount as well. Tucks it up really close to the mirror. Looks really good, and I can't tell you enough good things about the Uniden R7. I've been using it for quite a few years. I haven't had the urge to upgrade to the R8 just yet because I've been so happy with the R7. So if you're looking for a really nice, high quality radar that the range is insane, can't recommend the R7 enough. Up here we got a few things. So this is the AK Motion data vent display. This thing is insane. So many things you can do with this. This is actually tapped into your Canvas system over here. So you can actually program, you can do some coding, you do a lot of different things with this. I actually control the exhaust valves with this. So I can open, close them, I can turn the burbles on and off. A lot of cool things you can do with this, but I'm able to monitor my oil pressure, my oil temperature, coolant temperature, intake temp, tons of different information. And it looks really clean, really OEM. Absolutely love this. If you're looking for a gauge in your car, I cannot recommend AK Motion enough. This thing has been amazing. Customer service is great as well. Alex is the owner. And if you guys are looking for something like this, this is amazing. Definitely something to get. My phone mount is really simple. This is the Renline phone mount. So this is a MagSafe charger as well. I actually have it wired through to be plugged underneath in the cigarette lighter down there, the 12 volts. This is magnetic as well. So I just put my phone there, stays put, charges at the same time. So it's really, really nice. Right here, we have an OEM BMW option. This is actually the cup holder tray. So underneath we got the cup holders, but this simply just slips into place and you got a nice little storage cubby that covers things up, as well as a nice little tray here. So if you put your wallet or whatever you want, nice little thing. This is an OEM BMW piece. As for the door handles over here, same exact company, MF Interior, that did this piece. He actually did the door handles for me in the same Alcantara with the M tri-stitch. They're on all 4 doors in the back as well. Look really good, ties everything in. Also coming in, that is not here yet, but it just got finished. I got the entire dash trim, both vents over here, done in the same Alcantara, but we got a custom little engraving done as well to kind of add it to the next level and make it kind of my own. So it's going to match all the other Alcantara I got in here. Going to delete the carbon. It's going to look really cool. So be on the lookout for that. I'm including that in the price since I already paid for it, and it's included in my overall spreadsheet. So I figured I would throw that in there. Up here, I don't have the keys on me, but I actually upgraded to full screen Apple CarPlay. My car actually didn't come with CarPlay for whatever reason. The original owner that spec'd this car out didn't include, I believe it was a $300 option to include wireless CarPlay. The company I use is called RA Coatings. Really, really simple. You just put in the information of what unit and system you have. They send over a file, you load it up, and you get full screen CarPlay. It also enables video in motion, so I can drive and watch a movie if I wanted to. I don't, but the option's there. Also purchased and installed the OEM BMW Wi-Fi antenna. Since I didn't have CarPlay, my car didn't have that antenna, so I had to buy that. Relatively cheap, but if you do add the CarPlay to your car that didn't have it, you're going to need that Wi-Fi antenna as well. Over here, we actually have a Euro headlight switch. So really, really simple modification, but as you can see, we got a little button back here that enables the rear fog lights on the taillights. Now the other buttons aren't functional, but this is from a F series, just a normal 3 series, a Euro version. This right here, you can actually control the level of the headlights. On the halogen versions, on the normal 3 series, I have the LCIs, the Icon LED headlights, so mine doesn't do that. But that is why that's there. Now I could have gone with the Euro F80 version, which just includes this button, but I purchased this. It was relatively cheap, and I don't mind the extra buttons. I think it looks nice. They light up as well, and I don't know, whatever. It doesn't bother me that there's extra buttons, but maybe one day we'll turn that into a blank and change it up. But we also upgraded these right here. These are not included. This is an aftermarket piece, little silver trim. It kind of matches all the other silver trim around the radio area and everything, the climate control and all that. So nice, cool little option. Did a video on that. So relatively cheap, but nice little modification. Over here is probably my favorite steering wheel I've ever seen on any F80, F82. This is an OEM M2 CS steering wheel. So if you look up here, it's got the nice little red perforated stitch up here. Not too noticeable, blends in nicely, but it adds that little touch. Full Alcantara, M stitch, nice and thick, much thicker than the OEM stock leather wheel. And I'm just in love with it. I think it looks so good. It's exactly what I like in my cars. I prefer Alcantara. A little bit more maintenance, but I think it's worth it overall. Now, we've done quite a few other things here as well. We upgraded to the OEM M Performance carbon fiber trim piece here. This gloss black in the middle. This is from Auto Technic. We got that done in gloss black. Normally that's silver. Nice little touch. Come over here, we got some cool little things. We got the M1 and M2 in carbon fiber by Carbon Culture. We also have the start stop button over there in carbon fiber as well from Carbon Culture. But there's one other thing on here that you guys may not notice, but once you know, you're going to want it. The resume and the mode buttons are black. Normally they are silver, but I actually retrofitted this from a BMW i8. The i8 came with black resume and mode buttons. I ended up purchasing them on eBay, the actual whole entire control panel, and I dissected the buttons and put them on here. And I think it just looks much better. I'm not a big fan of silver, as you guys can tell, so going with the OEM matching black buttons, I think just looks really, really good and ties everything nicely. Another recent modification that I recently installed that I can't show you right now, but I have the full BAV Sound Stage 1 speaker upgrade. So it's all the door speakers, all the other speakers in the car. We also got the Ghost subwoofers underneath the seats as well. So it's the full entire kit. Sounds incredible. This car came with the Harman Kardon, so it already really sounded good, but upgrading to the BAV Sound is a huge upgrade. Now that it's fully broken in, it sounds insane. And it truly sounds like a proper sound system in a proper car. HK is good, but the BAV Sound sounds way better. Almost forgot to mention the Auto Solutions short shift kit. This is honestly one of my favorite modifications on the entire car. Can't believe I almost forgot it. But Auto Solutions short shift kit It is a 25% reduction. You can customize whatever specs that you want, but I went with the OEM height. So I didn't go super low or anything. I wanted to stick to the OEM height since the knob that I am using is actually 13 millimeters lower, I believe, than the stock leather knob. So it's actually even lower than stock. So I didn't want to go any lower, but it's a 25% reduction. I also went with the 95A bushings. So the firmest bushings gives it a super direct feel, nice and short. It is incredible. I love how this feels. Adds so much driver engagement to the overall experience. I also upgraded the rear bushing as well to the Turner Motorsport poly bushing. So this just feels so good. The F80 manual transmission is okay. Not that bad, but upgrading all of this with the UCP pedal and all the bushings and everything, this is an amazing feeling transmission. We also did some coating with Bimmer coating as well. So we did some coating for the windows. So when you unlock it, all the windows go down. I also coated on some cool things for the taillights. So when you brake really hard, they flash a certain amount of times. I also coated in the door handle lights. So when you put it in reverse, the door lights, the little puddle lights, if you will, turn on as well. Look really cool. I coated a bunch of other things. I actually never made a video on it, out of everything that I coated in, but added some nice little touches as well. Thought I would mention that since it's really cool. You can just do it all on your phone and code in exactly what you want out of the car. So many different things you can do. It's pretty insane. Also underneath, gonna be hard to see, but I have the M Performance door lights. They're on all 4 doors. You can actually change the picture in here. I chose this one. These are the OEM BMW ones, so you can get them cheaper, but I wanted to go with OEM. Super, super bright, lots of color. These things look so cool at night when it's dark. I also have installed the tubes, the light tubes under here to enhance the overall ambient lighting in this car. As we all know, it is not the best. There's only 2 colors to choose from, red or white, but adding these little diffusers on each door makes them brighter. It diffuses the light better, and they are so much brighter and look so much better. So I have them on all 4 doors. Huge upgrade for something so simple. These are hard to find these days, but if you can find them, highly recommend doing them. One last thing for the interior that obviously I don't have here yet, but it is coming, already paid for. We have done a custom OEM extinguisher bracket for the Recaro pole position. So I'm going to have a nice OEM BMW fire extinguisher in the car, which is always nice to have, but it's going to tuck nicely up under the seat. We had to do a bunch of custom fabrication to get this to work, but going to be amazing. I got it paint matched to mineral gray metallic, so it's going to tie in really nicely. Looking forward to showing you the install on that and how everything works, but that is included in the price since I already paid for it, and it's coming very soon. Also, back headrest, kind of hard to see, but I have the carbon fiber headrest. I had them on the stock seats as well, the carbon fiber backs, but since I changed over the Recaros, I left the back seats there because they just look good. So I figured I'd mention those since it's a nice little touch and looks really cool. Ooh, okay, so I think I hit everything. I may have missed a few little things like the Downstar hardware in the back here, which you can kind of see. I also have it on the door piece right there. So little things here and there I didn't account for. It's kind of included overall, but I didn't point them out. Figured I would mention it there. Maybe a few things here and there that I didn't mention that honestly probably forgot that I did because I've done so much to this car. It's pretty crazy. I've only had this car for 1.5 years, going on 2 years this June. So we've done a lot to it, and it turned out absolutely amazing. So if you're curious how much I spent on this car for modifications, here is how much I spent on the screen. Pretty insane, pretty crazy, but that is what it takes to get a car to this level. Now, I understand you can spend less. I understand you can buy things used. You can go a different route. So many different ways to go about this, but the way that I modify cars is I necessarily don't really care about the expense. I just want to make it the best version I possibly can. And that is just what I take. And I buy everything new, so there's no stories. I buy them from vendors. And yes, I don't get sponsored for anything. I pay for all of this stuff with my hard-earned money. Sometimes I get a few deals here and there, but honestly, it's nothing crazy or worthwhile to even really mention. Otherwise, I just make the content because I enjoy it. I'm installing the modifications because I personally want to install them, not because somebody told me to. And that is just the direction I always take with my cars. So yes, very expensive. I put a lot into this car, but as you can see, it turned out amazing. I'm sorry it's not out of the garage. out in the daylight. We are stuck in here from the snow, and it's been stuck in here for the last 2 months, which is crazy. Going on 3 months, actually. I'm so thrilled with how this turned out. My vision, it completely exceeded my expectations. I've had this thought in my mind of how I wanted my perfect F80 to look, feel, sound, and I feel like I executed it perfectly. It honestly has exceeded my expectations, and seeing this car here after all these years of envisioning it in my head is pretty insane. And it just turned out absolutely amazing. So we still have a few things coming. We got the OEM GTS hood that I talked about, a few interior bits, a few things else that we got in the pipeline. So when you take into consideration the price I paid for the car, which I've talked about in a video when I first got the car, plus all the modifications, we are in 6 digits for sure. Pretty crazy to think that I spent that much on this car. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't change it. It's worth every single penny. The car turned out amazing. And yeah, there you have it. All right, guys, so there you have it. There is the total cost I spent in modifications alone on my F80 M3. I hope that put it into perspective of what it takes to get a car like this to this level and to use these certain modifications and do a copy paste of my exact car. I have made videos on every single modification I have talked about in this video. So if you're curious about how it was installed, anything about it, more detail, go and check all the videos I made on this car. I have no joke. Since day one, since even before I got this car, I have talked about it. I have a video picking up the car, doing the first modifications, reviews, anything that you can think of, everything on this car, there is a video. So be sure to go back and check my entire catalog on this car. It is so detailed, lots of information, lots of things to talk about. And yeah, so go back and check those videos if you want. But that is going to do it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions at all about the car, any modification or anything else, please leave them in the comments below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple. I'll catch you guys in the next one.